Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. In this video I'm going to give you an update. It's a bit of a later update. I used to do this every Sunday. I have been doing that for the last month and a half. This Sunday I missed it, but I'm still going to give you the update for what has been happening with these tight range pools. The risk is not the pool itself, it's more of the range. You can even lose money due to impermanent loss and hunting high yields in blue chip asset pools. And so I'm going to give you a breakdown of my experience and also what I think is optimal, which is actually not using high risk ranges or very tight ranges, regardless of the pool. This is a strategy that I have been using and applying because the whole point of yield farming for many people, I believe, is the fact that they want to make passive income. And if you have tight ranges, it's not going to be passive. It's going to be your full-time job. All right. I have not been managing these positions 24/7. I basically check upon them 2-3 times a day, depending on how markets are, but at the very least 2 times a day. And well, sometimes it goes out of range. It's just part of business, right? So if you don't want to manage positions 24/7, you can actually set up wider ranges. The biggest handicap of that is when you do it, your APR will be substantially lower, and it will be, instead of this crazy over 1000% APR, it will be 10% APR. It can be higher, of course. You can go 100% APR, but a wide enough range will guarantee you that you will be yielding consistently throughout months, if not years, if it's wide enough. And for that, I'm using here this Bitcoin pool. I'm going to share a little bit about my opinion of wide ranges later on in the video. But right now, let me just go ahead and do the update, just show you how much I have been yielding. Sometimes there are other pools. If you check my previous videos, I have been exposed to different pools. If I'm not happy with the yield, I move on to something else. If I am not happy with how the performance of the coin is going and I'm locking in too much impermanent loss, I will jump from one pool to others that I see more promising. So you can see actually from my other videos that this pool has been quite consistent. Jito, I've been in this one for probably a month, but I have been averaging 5% a day with these pools. Let me show you how much cake I have yielded so far. 55 cake. Also, this cake has not been something that I harvested for the past week, and I did look at this last video of mine, so it was a video from 9 days ago. It's the latest update about my weekly results on PancakeSwap, and in the video I showed you that I did yield, let me just go full screen, 32.9 cake, but actually it was already a bit higher than this because there's some pending yield. Let me show you later on the video. So yeah, 1.5 cake in pending yield that at the moment I was recording I did not harvest. So that 1.5 plus 32.9, so let's call it 34 cake that I yielded in that week for these same high risk strategies, right? Now if we come up here, we still have 55 cake, and let me tell you, from those 34 cake I did not sell the whole thing. I did actually accumulate. So a part of this is a part of that cake. So let me pull up the calculator. So I had 34, right? From those 34, let's take 10 out because I topped up 5 to each pool. So this pool dropped in value at some point 25%. I did put $10 worth of cake, a little bit over that, back in the pool. I used cake to top up. And the same thing with this pool. I used 5 other cake tokens to top up this pool. I tried to keep my overall LP position not lower than $200. I started with 250. Doing the math here, I have 55 currently. If I subtract from 55, 24, we will get the yield in cake that I got since that last video in the past 9 days. Let me show you here once again so that you can see clearly. 9 days ago I uploaded the video, right? So this means, let's pull up the calculator again, 31 divided by 9, it's 3.4 cake a day on average times 2.5, and actually let me show you here, cake's price is currently 2.5. It's good that I didn't sell because cake was 2.3 and now it's 2.5, so it did appreciate a little bit, so it kind of worked out. And this brings us to $8.6 a day with current market price. This will fluctuate, of course, as the price of cake goes up and down, right? But currently this is the value. Now another thing, 8.6 just in cake. I've been yielding at least $10 a day on average, and you can see here from the trade fees, it's pretty much 50-50. And the same case here for G2 USDC. It's not really 50-50. I'm earning a little bit lower in trade fees than I am with Cake. But from these APRs that you can see also from the trade fees, understand that this 8.6 is just Cake. So I'm talking about easily over $10 a day, which with a $200 investment, that's an average of 5% a day. And also one of the reasons why I have been able to accumulate that cake is because most of the trade fees, I will use them to top up the pools. Sometimes if there's a drastic price drop, the price crashes too much, yes, then I will resort to cake as I did and used 10 cake in order to top up the pools, right? So that's part of my strategy. The thing also about yielding with cake or some sort of incentives is that it does save me a bit of work. Whenever I harvest, a way for you to de-risk, take some money off the table, is to turn the assets that you are yielding into stables, into Bitcoin, into Ethereum. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you turn it into something which you are not exposed to on your liquidity pool, okay? And usually I do that when I'm selling for profits, taking some money off the table, de-risking. And it's good that I earn incentives in Cake because that already takes the work that I need to swap the tokens and whatnot. Everything is more streamlined in that way. Now this goes to show I've been averaging this 5% a day for the past almost 2 months. Had I done a video this past Sunday, it would have been my 7th week. So this next Sunday, it will be the mark of 2 months. It goes to show also that it can work, yield farming with tight ranges, but it is very risky. And the reason why it works is that because we are in a bull market. There's a lot of volume, a lot of trading, and I'm not worrying about locking in some impermanent loss here and there. Of course, potentially, optimally, we want to avoid impermanent loss the more that we can, right? But it will hit you sooner or later. So one of the things that you need to do is actually de-risk, and I can do that just by letting my cake yield accumulate. But optimally, in my opinion, I should have been putting that cake into some other pools, de-risking into something else that brings me yield over time. I did already open a few also degen positions with high risk pools, meme coin pools on base. They're not yielding as much as these ones on Solana. I can show you something still, like for example this SPX USD C pool on base. At some time I had over 1000% APR. Now it has been toning down, and I opened this position with the yield in the first couple weeks that I was getting from Solana farms. Everything started with these farms on Solana, okay? So just to be clear about that, I have effectively already doubled my initial. So if we come back here, this is roughly $70. I also compounded some of the yield of this pool in order to build up in value, but $70 that I managed to grow initially with the yield that I got from different LPs here on Solana, plus 100 and let's call it $140. It's already over 200. So I started with 250. I mean, it's not yet $250 if we put everything together, but like I just shared with you, if we account with the trading fees in the ship of these tokens, yeah, I already yielded in less than 2 months over $250. Effectively, I could have doubled my position or more. I mean, there's definitely people who can do even better. With these market conditions, I have been experiencing this for the past year, and I think it's very safe to say that it's something that anyone can replicate. You gotta know what you're doing though, because it's still high risk. There's more to it. It's not just blindly getting a pool here and start yielding. Although, yeah, that can work, but if you know what you're doing, it's much better, of course. And some of the things that come into play are also the entry price. So you got to look at charts. You got to look if you are in a top. If you are in a top, I would not even get into it. I wouldn't even bother, even with high incentives. I would look for something else that has potential to bounce up. Essentially, that's it. Then when it comes to compounding and taking profits, I compound when prices are below my entry. I take profits when they are above my entry. Okay. Initially, it always has been the whole goal of this to turn risky pools into Bitcoin pools or Ethereum or Solana pools. That was the whole point. But one of the biggest handicaps about yield farming, in order for you to make a living out of it, is that you need to have a big enough portfolio, 5 digits at least. Portfolio 6 digits, it's even better, but 5 it's enough. So essentially, if you don't have that type of capital, you can actually take some more risk, start with something small, like it's $200, $250 that I started, right? And work your way up from there. So potentially you can work this in a couple of months to double it, or potentially even turn it into 4 digits portfolio, turn 250 into 1,000. The thing is that when will the bear market hit? I'm not sure if you are going to have enough time to do that in the following months. I don't know when the bear market it will hit, but as long as there's enough stable coins entering the market in crypto and the market cap for stable coins keeps the same or keeps going up, I don't think we have to worry about the bear market. But it's like the Stark saying goes in Game of Thrones, winter is coming, and you gotta prepare for winter, because if not, your whole portfolio can get wrecked in a couple weeks. And then what do? Do you readjust ranges and lock in impermanent loss, or do you just let it sit for who knows how many years or months, or but potentially years, for the bear market to come to an end, and you'll have the positions just sitting there being worth less and not yielding, which is not optimal, right? You want constant cash flow from yield farming. And essentially that's it, guys. So the whole point of this yield farming with tight ranges, generate substantial amounts of money in the shortest amount of time, 5% a day. That is what I have been averaging on the very least. And then when you're happy with your portfolio, start feeding that yield to grow your position into a blue chip asset liquidity pool with a wide range. And every day you feed it. Every day you feed it in order to grow in value. At some point, potentially, you can exit these higher risk pools altogether and take all of that and put it into the blue chip pool. And effectively, in a couple months, 3 months, 4 months, what happened is that you just started with triple digits portfolio, and now you have 4 digits portfolio with a wide range that it might not still be enough for you to make a living out of it. But if you keep on being constant with it, working with it and compounding, in the next Bitcoin cycle, probably that's when you are going to experience the most amount of gains. In any case, guys, that is just my experience. That's what I'm trying to show you with these tight range pools. And by the way, if you're wondering how to do this and how to learn about yield farming, in the description of any of my videos, you will find a referral link. So let me show you here. It's for the Underdog investor group. So you can see it here, advanced DeFi strategies with these essential resources. And the very first one is Crypto Labs Underdog investor group. If you use my referral link, it will get you 20% off on your first month. And you can get access to a whole group of people, resources for learning, and they even have a fast track program where you can get one-on-one coaching with them. You have to book it and pay some extra for that, of course, but you'll have one-on-one live stream sessions with the teacher that will help you out and guide you by the hand. So if you use this link, something like this will pop up. So yeah, I'm gonna say go to site. This is just YouTube making sure that we stay safe, right? But this is legit. So go to site and you'll have this coupon that gets you 20% off on your first month. So this is for all of you that want to learn this type of things. But of course, feel free to reach out to me through my Telegram. I can help you out if you still have some doubts, some questions, completely free of charge. But if you're looking for a group that can help you, or even one-on-one coaching, this is the place where I would tell you to go to. They even have their own YouTube channel with a ton of very valuable free information. Alright guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Thank you for watching, take care, keep exploring crypto. I'll see you on the next one.